This video is sponsored by Ace Defender. Ace Defender is a high-quality SRPG masterpiece combining turn-based RPG battle with tower defense elements. The game features nearly 2,000 levels and 48 heroes with deep hero background stories. You can level up, combine heroes, and equip gear to create a powerful lineup. This game features obviously multiple ways for you to have fun. The first one is the PvE, the expedition. Explore dungeons and regions, engage in trials, level up your heroes, and collect rare items. Once you think you have what it takes to handle the challenge, feel free to try the arena, a player versus player place in which you will be able to test out your company against other players. Join now and get access to a very special hero, Brenda the Demon Spear, with the ability to deal massive damages in both PvE and PvP battles, limit her opponent's damage, and recover her own health. But the most interesting part is that the game is getting soon a massive expansion called a Realm of Delties, allowing you to create your own castle, develop technologies, train soldiers, and conquer cities for endless treasures. Download the game now by clicking the link in the description to get 10 Royal Recruits tickets after completing the level 8 of Chapter 2. You can use the tickets by clicking Sky City Tavern Recruit 10. So, what are you waiting for? This new adventure is only waiting for you, so click the link in the description. Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're gonna do a little bit of a rant on the mouse and why I think it doesn't have the place it deserves. In order to understand the following, I need to do a quick summary of the tank. The mouse, when it was first introduced, was just the big brawler, a huge bunker on rails, on tracks, that had the possibility of bouncing everything, going straight into the battle, even if there were still some tanks that could penetrate it, such as the Jagdpanzer E100. For the rest, it was nearly impossible frontally, which made it a great tank and a great asset in order to play aggressively. But you're probably aware that right now it's not the case anymore. That thing is just lame when it comes to push because of its turret cheeks. At first, when you take a look at the armor profile, you're gonna think to yourself, okay, that thing is packing some serious armor on the turret. But yeah, once you take a closer look, you see that it's not the case. 250 millimeters of armor when angled is truly not enough for a tank that size and for the purpose of it on the battlefield. 250, to tell you, is pretty much the average penetration at tier 10 for every single tank you will encounter, at least on the heavy side, some mediums, and all tanks that have an above 125 millimeter gun. When you compare it to the latest tanks being introduced, the Concept 1B that features nearly 600 millimeters, well, you're long behind. And the problem is, since gold shells were obtainable by everyone through credits and not gold anymore, people tend to spam gold every time they see a mouse. And obviously at tier 10 or even tier 9, when you spam gold, you have above 330 millimeters of penetration. So clearly enough to penetrate the mouse frontally. And yes, I know some people are going to tell me, Pantoufleee, you need to wiggle with the tank, you need to angle. So first of all, wiggling with the mouse, it's possible, but it's quite hard because the tank's mobility completely sucks, because its main purpose was to be a bunker on tracks and therefore have a good armor and no mobility. But on top of that, if you try to angle the turret, it doesn't solve the problem at all. You will still get easily penetrated on your front. You need to extremely angle, you need to find just the right spot, which is right above this area right here, in order for you to actually become impenetrable. And well, even if you do that and you angle it like this, you still can get penetrated on that side if the guy in front of you has enough penetration. Of course, you have the possibility of angling the tank as much as you can. Like, for example, if you have someone in front of you, if you angle your turret like that, they will probably not be able to penetrate you. But if you do this, well, you can't angle the lower part. And this is the huge problem I have with the mouse. You can't angle both. Like, if you do this and you angle the tank as much as you can, you still can get penetrated frontally using gold shells. And here on that part, if you're falling on a heavy tank or even a tank destroyer, you will get penetrated on that area. So in the end, there is not one spot that is not penetrable on the mouse, even when angled. And it leads to weird situations in which you get penetrated by people for stupid reasons. For example, here, I was side scraping against the 60TP. When I'm playing with a mouse, I'm at least expecting to be able to bounce people frontally. No, it was not the case. Not only did I get penetrated by the 60TP, but the guy was not even using gold shells when he penetrated, because he did like 720 alpha damage, which is more than what you can do with the gold shells. It's just ridiculous to see that you have to adapt your playstyle to a tank that is not armored. By that, I mean that here, right now, against the heavy on the second shot, I had to play in peekaboo. Do you really think that the peekaboo is a viable solution for the mouse? I don't think so. Of course, when you're extremely skilled, you can still angle the mouse correctly and be able to do the most out of it. But the problem is, I don't think that the mouse first and main reason to exist is to fit only to skilled players. Obviously, it's one of the biggest tanks in the game, and well, you shouldn't treat it as a pro tank. It should be a newbie tank, same as the IS-4 or the IS-7, that are perfectly fitting their roles right now. All those tanks received the buff, but not the mouse, which is the one that needed it the most. But don't mind me, I'm not expecting a huge buff on the mouse, otherwise it would make the tank completely broken. But just maybe adding 10mm of raw armor on the turret cheeks. This is all I'm asking for. Don't even touch the lower part of the hull, but at least allow us to play more comfortably in all down, and when we angle the tank, truly make a difference. This way we will finally make the mouse relevant, because obviously in the current meta we don't see that much mouse or even E100s, because those tanks, based on their armor profile, the aesthetic of the tank, they are easy to penetrate. It's just flat turrets, and of course, even if those flat turrets have a lot of armor, it's still not enough to bounce anything. When we compare to extremely angled turrets like the one we have on the IS-4, it's just nowhere close to what we have on other tanks. It's just, I don't see the point of having big super heavy tanks if you can't play them like super heavy tanks. And this is something World of Tank PC understood, because when you take a look at the mouse, it got a huge buff. In my opinion, it was a little bit too much, because they buffed literally everything: the mobility, the gun dispersion, the accuracy, the armor, everything. I'm not asking for that, just increasing the thickness of the front turret armor from 240 to 250 or even 260, like it was the case in World of Tank PC. This would do a huge difference already. Here we would see a huge difference, because here, when we take a look at the mouse in World of Tank PC against the Wotb, which is kind of a Foch 155 with the same penetration but 6 shells in the magazine and a lower alpha damage per shot, well, you see that you're extremely good at bouncing shells. Here the Wotb bounced all of his shells, and it was quite easy for the mouse because you angled it. In my opinion, what you're seeking for the mouse is for people that know how to angle it to make it nearly impenetrable, at least frontally, and for the people that don't know what they are doing with it and staying straight in front of their opponents, well, when you switch to gold shell, being easy to penetrate. Here it would make a true difference. And yes, some people are going to tell me that in World of Tank Blitz it's already the case, because when you angle the tank properly, you can bounce. And I kind of agree with you, but I don't feel like the angling you need with the tank should be that much, considering that you are one of the heaviest and most armored tanks in the game. It would have two uses. The first would be to make new players playing the mouse relevant again on the battlefield, because usually when you encounter people playing the mouse, except rarely when they're good players, usually they don't know what they're doing and they think they can just roll in, go in, and they get destroyed within the first 2 minutes of the game. And at the same time, doing this will allow us players to play the mouse again and have fun with this tank again. Because getting replaced by new tanks like 60TP and things like that are making a huge shadow on the mouse. And well, when it's the case, right now, what's the point of playing a mouse if you're not playing it in fun game modes where you can ram anyone using the speed boost abilities? The mouse became totally useless. So wargaming, I think, and it's only my opinion, maybe you think that I say utter bullshit, but it could be good to see the mouse getting a small armor buff on its star cheeks. Add maybe 5, 6, 7 millimeters of armor. This is all we are asking for, and this would probably make a huge difference on the playstyle of the mouse, allowing you to brawl once again. Well, maybe you disagree with me, and if it's the case, feel free to tell me in the comments. Personally, I feel like it would be a good idea, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have done a video, but I would also like to know your opinion. Do you think that the mouse in the current meta is still relevant or not? Feel free to tell me, and personally, I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.